So you want to improve your English but you don't know where to start. Don't worry, I understand. As an English tutor of over 7 years, I've encountered many students who dislike or even hate the thought of doing English. And it's only intensified by the fact that English, or a literacy equivalent such as literature, foundational or general English, is the only subject that is compulsory in high school. But enough about how you might feel about English. What's the best way to improve your English? I'll get straight to the point. Reading. Now you might be groaning internally.
He loves to make me read.
But what I'll say to you is this. When is the last time you actually set aside time to read? Not reading for school, not reading for an assignment, but reading for pleasure or reading for yourself. Reading has been found to improve English skills across a wide range of ages and abilities. But why should you read in the first place? Let's see if I can convince you with 5 reasons as to why reading might just be key to your success in English. To start with, reading increases your vocabulary or your word knowledge. Just as importantly, it teaches you how to place words in their proper context. Take, for example, if you learnt the word fundamentally for an essay that's coming up. You might look in the dictionary to look up the meaning and then use it in your essay. But realistically, you wouldn't remember it. Why? You will probably forget the meaning of the word quickly due to minimal exposure to the word. As such, other words that you might try to learn would remain difficult to retain and remember if you learnt them in the same way. This is what Krashen terms the complexity argument. Language is too vast and too complex to be taught one word or rule at a time. By contrast, if you had read and come across this word multiple times, your brain would have been able to subconsciously remember the meaning for you. This is called learning contextually. So even if you don't know the exact textbook definition of the word, every time you would come across this word, you'll be able to build upon the general sense of the word. An increased vocabulary can thus help you to read texts more comprehensively and understand them more, speak more eloquently, and also use words which carry a more precise meaning. A similar method to what I just mentioned can be applied to grammar and punctuation patterns. So for example, when we're talking in conversation, we don't usually think about the pauses that we tend to make.
And I don't know exactly how to put this, but
when we're writing, it gets harder, because how do we know if that pause should be represented by a dash, a semicolon, an ellipsis, a full stop? The more you read, the more you won't have to think as much about whether that comma needs to go before or after the quotation mark, because you would have already encountered it on multiple occasions and know what looks right. So, just like the vocabulary, the more you read, the more your brain will pick up where to insert that appropriate punctuation mark or where you need to break up a sentence somehow. And this can also be helped if you read aloud your essay, but that's another story. Reading actually increases your motivation and enjoyment of English. Yeah. According to a study by Lawrence and others, many teachers strongly believe that reading is able to increase substantially the engagement of the students in their class. Thirdly, reading increases your motivation and engagement with English at school. According to a study by Lawrence and others, many teachers believed that reading could substantially increase the engagement that students had in class, which means they could pay attention more and not have to study so much at home. Another study demonstrated that extensive reading was likely to reduce anxiety that students felt towards the language being learned.
I'm feeling very calm.
While this was focused on learning a foreign language, I definitely think that this is applicable to students who are learning English as their first language. Let's not ignore the obvious. More reading equals more reading comprehension skills. Not only will you improve your grammar and vocabulary, reading will also help you to understand the text more. If you increase the amount of time that you spend reading each day, you'll be able to find the answers to questions more quickly as you build upon core reading strategies such as skimming and scanning. I mentioned 4 reasons why reading will improve your English, but reading also holds many benefits outside of the classroom. These include, but are not limited to, increased empathy, decreased stress levels, prevention of cognitive decline, and also even a longer life, according to a study done by Yale University. So it's a win-win-win situation. You can better your English abilities while improving your prowess in other subjects and even become a happier person. Maybe you were looking for a quick fix solution to improve your English, but I can honestly say that such solutions will usually cause you more stress and headaches in the long run. Sure, reading may not be the fastest way of improving your English, but it is definitely the most sustainable, and I argue that it can be one of the most enjoyable as well. If you develop a regular habit of reading, then not only will you enjoy an increased skill set at school, but you'll also develop your confidence in English as a subject. And sure enough, the results in the long run will represent that as well. Try reading a page from a book that you think you enjoy and see where you go from there. Even just 2 minutes a day can make a difference. And remember, it's never too late to start. Please don't hesitate to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more help with your studies. A similar method can be applied, similar method to what I just mentioned.